I'm about to start. You heard? Oh, what? Has 3 minutes left.
Yep. We got 3 minutes right now. Is it? I haven't able to check it.
It says
Is
three
it?
minutes.
Yeah, it's not lagging or nothing like that. Like it's not like too bad.
Nah, it just says two
All right,
minutes and 58 seconds.
58. All right, I got 2 minutes and 5. Cool.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, we just talk about all types of stuff. I've been mad busy, man, so I haven't really gotten a chance to really focus and honing in on like a specific topic.
Yeah. Nah. Same. Been
But
trying to do this coaching shit.
yeah, how's that going, man?
Good. All right. Nope. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
All right. We about to get started. Keep my- Oh shit! I'm about to die. Here. All right. We got about
yeah.
15 seconds.
All right, bet. So we'll start it. We'll start it off. Um, we'll start it off with talking about the current events,
Okay.
and then we'll flow into talking about Bob Lazar a little bit and UFOs because it's gonna mix together with this whole conspiracy theory.
Okay. All right. All right. And we're live.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Neal, and this is your co-host, Anthony Lucas. As always, here to bring you some of the most interesting and controversial type of conspiracy theories and non-conspiracy theories. We're not just going to bring you conspiracy theories. We're going to bring you some facts. We're going to bring you some information that you could actually do your own due diligence on as well. But there's going to be times where we bring you information that is purely just conspiracy theory, and today we might do a little bit of both. All right. So um, we didn't really have a specific topic for today's episode. We're just going to kind of go in a direction leading with the current events that's happening right now. As you guys see what's going on with this whole, Ukraine thing and Russia, and we got this is the thing. And I shared some videos with Anthony the other day. about Putin or Putin, however you want to pronounce it, and this whole, I don't know if you can call it conspiracy theory. I don't know. The video is so well put together. It just seems more like a bunch of facts, if anything, than a conspiracy theory. But it's a well put together video by people I don't know who the hell they are. But I found it on the web and shared it with Anthony, and it just shared a interesting perspective, I guess you could say, on Putin and what's been really going on. You know, we did have episodes where we talked about the Illuminati or the cabal, that they also call it the deep state, right? The people who are the bad guys who are trying to take over the world that have been trying for a long time. Those guys, right? They don't have a country attached to them. They don't have a specific thing attached to them, a name attached to them. They literally are just who they are, and they live through infiltration. They infiltrate countries, government bodies, entertainment industries, all types of industries. So anyway, Putin, right, and a lot of people that are in power, you know, in politics and stuff like that in these countries, especially the main countries, typically end up joining this group, right? They end up being a part of the bad guy group, and it seems like Putin might have turned his back on the bad guys because the mainstream media is all owned by the same people, the same company, which is attached to the same Illuminati, the bad guys, whatever you want to call them. They're all attached to Google. They're all attached to the people who own these mainstream media companies. So when you really think about that, you're like, so how? Why would you believe them, and why would they share a narrative that doesn't favor them? You know, why would they? Why would they ever share a narrative that doesn't favor them? So you got this whole story going on with Putin invading Ukraine, and they're making it, you know, out to be like he's a bad guy and stuff like that. But yet, I found information that says another story. Says that, you know, he kind of played a slick role of somewhat acting like he was a part of this bad guy group, and then no longer a part of them. In fact, trying to take them down, and that's why they're coming at him so hard. But he's not stupid. He's actually a very, very, very smart guy. Um, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, when you have, I mean, I saw previous videos of Putin or Putin, however you want to pronounce it. Um, when he had like meetings with like it was like a video they had. It was a savage ass moment where Putin literally put like it was a room of billionaires, rich people from like Russia, whatever, and he literally put one of these guys in their place, a billionaire that in their place because they were corrupt. And the way he came down on them in that meeting, in that video, whether it was staged, I mean, who knows these days, right? Doesn't matter. But what I saw in that video and how he was, I don't know. I got a sense of character that he actually maybe is a person who actually cares. I don't know. This is all just theory at this point. I don't know the guy personally. But that video was very interesting, and I shared it with you. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Uh, I didn't see the whole thing, but I did watch the beginning of the video. But pretty much like what I really wanted to talk about is just when we talk about Putin. Think about this: every single president has one on air and said this guy is a nice guy, right or wrong. Every single president, uh, junior power Russia
At one point, yeah.
at one point, like this guy is a really good guy. He spoke to him. So when it comes to the point of what you were saying, like starts talking about corruption, Putin has been very open about America, very open about it.
and,
Not
and he's also mentioned the New World Order in his
yes,
interviews before, which is
yes,
something you never heard a leader ever mention. You know,
yeah, yeah, and that was the next thing I was getting, and he's openly talk about naughty these type of I guess everybody likes to say conspiracy groups, which I don't really. It's very blatant. They're telling us who they are, but the world just kind of wants like and it's even just it's scary. Like that video seen today with Joe Rogan and that one guy talking about the Catholic. So it's just like it's out there open, and Putin is just pretty. I said this from the beginning that America and NATO is 100% in the wrong. Um, I just think Putin is in the wrong of going about it the wrong way of killing stuff like that. Like nobody should be doing that. But again, I understand both sides, and I understand just going to what every single president has said. This guy's a really good guy. To talk to, nice, understanding. He's a very strong leader. Then now you go into Putin is a terrible person. Now all these because now he's not doing what they want him to do. I'm saying
Yeah,
like he's not
just like
following the world.
just like Trump. They
Yeah.
all
Yep.
those previous presidents, they all loved Trump previously until he became president.
Yep. And then when he became president, what did he do? He followed his own rules. And then now it's oh no, Trump, this, that, and the third, and all worst president, other stuff. Which I'm not gonna say. I think the guy's an idiot. Not gonna open. I don't want nobody to openly think that I like Trump, all that stuff like that. I think the guy's an idiot, and I'm not one of those calling for Trump right now in a time of war. I'm definitely not one of those. But even still, like you think about it, like to just you can kind of see it's like that schoolyard mentality with the world, like with America, Europe, and all these people that are coming together in power. It's like, hey, you're either going to be with us or against us. If you're with us, we love you, we praise you to the media. If you're against us, hey, we're going to banish you to the world. And then now look at Russia's currency. Russia's literally they just put out a article today. I put it on my Instagram that Roblox currency is more than Russia's currency right now. So, but again, I don't think Russia cares. You know why?
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
they care because again, cryptocurrency, man. Cryptocurrency is
Yo,
like,
bro, you know what's fucking crazy? Because you just mentioned crypto. Is I started putting all this stuff together, all this information I've been gathering. You got to watch all those videos. I'm telling you. But Dan Pena has a video out there,
yeah,
and
when he
a
says
long
it,
time
yeah,
ago, he said, I think I told you about this before, but a long time ago, he first said, when we find out who made Bitcoin, we're all going to be like shocked, right? Then recently, he said in a new video, Putin
yeah,
is the one behind. And you think
yeah,
about it, how do you defeat deep state, the Illuminati? You defeat them
centralized
by
coin,
decentralizing
yeah.
money. By decentralizing money, you defeat them because they only have power because of the centralized system.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all part of their plan, man. Because again, that ruins their plan. If we have a decentralized coin, that ruins their plan. They want the whole world to be under one currency because now they're going to own that one currency. But while they're sitting here telling everybody, "Hey, don't cryptos are high risk, it's gambling, all this other stuff," every single country in this world is in cryptocurrency, including Russia, including China, including USA, including all these other countries that say, "Oh, it's gambling, all this stuff," and they don't have a little bit of money. They got billions of dollars in it, and they brought in billions of dollars when the market went down to $3,000 in 2020. They put
Bro,
in
El Salvador is all
billions.
Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, yeah. El
All
Salvador is all Bitcoin. Yep. So
all
it's like
Bitcoin.
you think about it, man, like when you look back and you just start peeling the onion of all these corrupted motherfuckers and politicians, these leaders, these whatever you want to call them, they're all like I said, they're all corrupted. I feel like the same way we have a presidency of every 4 years to 8 years, it should be like that with politicians. No, no more than 4 or 8 years, because once you're in that field for so long, it's going to consume you. There's nobody's that disciplined or that strong to fight off a new world order or what they're planning to do. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So it's
here's
like,
another thing too.
uh-huh.
You gotta look into this. But the bad guys infiltrated NATO.
Yeah, of course.
They
They're in
infiltrate,
NATO.
bro. You
Yeah.
have to watch the rest of those videos.
Mhm.
Supposedly, during the Bush administration, during the Iraq War,
Mhm.
which my brother and I remember that because I remember everything that happened. My brother did 2 tours in Iraq. He did crazy. He was front line in the trucks that those people that were getting the trucks were getting blown up in front of him. He barely. made, I guess you could say, during that time. He was like, when it first happened, he was out there. Well, during that whole Iraq war and the whole war in the Middle East, they wanted to take down the whole entire Middle East, right? And merge it into one
Yeah.
that they control,
Hmm.
the New World Order that they control. But they failed, right? And it was the good guys that made them fail.
Yeah.
But this was another part of Bush's plan, supposedly. This is purely a conspiracy theory, guys. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have no facts for this besides the videos that I saw that are very elaborate ass fucking video that you can go ahead and watch yourself because I mean these people have some good information. But Bush around that time was sending, I don't know if you were in the military probably, I don't know around time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the Bush during Bush's administration, he was sending a lot of military around that time out of the country,
Mhm.
out of the country, to the point where the forces that we had in the country of America during that time we were weak. We were weak because they had so many soldiers out in North Korea and in the Middle East. They had soldiers everywhere on purpose because Bush's plan through infiltrating NATO. And NATO, I know people don't really know this, but back around that time, there was a big group of NATO training in America. So Bush had a plan, right, where supposedly, right, this is all theory, where during that time, where a lot of the American soldiers were sent out of the country to use NATO to do some crazy shit inside of America to push the agenda.
Yeah.
And something with specific groups that we're going to target first to get rid of, right? With NATO.
Yeah.
So we can't even trust NATO right now because
I don't.
they
I
they
wouldn't.
they're probably infiltrated. Like that, those are probably not even people trained, you know, for world peace. You know what
Nah.
I'm saying? Like,
So NATO is just that's America part two, bro. That's all NATO is, bro, and that's why
well,
Putin doesn't like it.
we can't call the cabal or deep state America. America's just one country that infiltrated out of a lot of them. They
Yeah.
infiltrated a lot of countries. And America's one of them. So what I want to do is stay away from like falling into that trap of oh it's America or no it's really not. It's one fucking group, bro. A
Yeah.
few families. That's it. A few fucking rich ass families that think they're outsmarting everybody. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Nah. Yeah. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, when you look at it and you look into the information, like it's just you can obviously tell, man. You can obviously tell that there's a few like-minded people that's controlling all. Because again, you see the same thing here in America, Europe, Mexico. You see it all over the world, except for those like communist countries or those countries that are like very outreach of America. I would say like India, Pakistan, other stuff. Like so, uh, pretty much Asia, like Asia countries. A lot of people don't understand Asians. They think of Asians as like Japanese, Chinese people. Like Asians are Indians, Pakistan, Russians. That's the continent of Asia. So I would say like as far as that goes to the continent of Asia, you can tell the influence of these families. Those 4 or 5 families is, I think it's really what is like about 4 of them that really like started building up this new world order, and you can really see their influence throughout the world and where it's going. So again, they're just kind of spreading it into America, and then now, like I said, NATO. So
And other countries
and
and
other
even the
countries, yeah,
Vatican because you showed that video you sent me that video earlier because we know who's really in charge of the bad guys. Like come on,
well,
this.
explain the video that I sent so people know what we're talking about.
So if you guys don't know, last time one of the last calls we did, we were talking about the pineal gland, and we mentioned how there's a big pine cone statue at the Vatican. Well, there's also other things at the Vatican, other statues, other artwork, other rooms and stuff in there, and that represent Luciferian Luciferian symbolism, purely Lucifer. These guys are pretending to be about Christ, and they're not. They're not. They are the antichrist. In fact, they don't want us to have Christ consciousness. They don't want us to be at that level. They've been doing everything they can to stop us from going on that level. Right? So the Vatican So remember, Lucifer is the master of deception. He knows how to make people go against each other, tell you that he's this, but he's really this, you know, be very slick. So when you go to the Vatican, you see these weird symbolism, these statues that represent Luciferian symbolism. And not only that, but if that is correct or not, they also have the most or one of the most powerful telescopes available, and it's actually called Lucifer. Bro, this is the crazy thing is that like Anthony was just saying, they put it out there in front of you, but they just know that you're gonna reject it and say, nah, that's not real. That's
Yep.
not real. These guys are really killing people, enslaving people. They're really doing this to kids, and all. You don't want to believe it because you know it doesn't feel right because you know you wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Anthony wouldn't do it because we're regular people. But trust me, Lucifer and his minions, whatever you want to call it, they're not regular people. They
Yeah.
don't they don't they don't value life like we do, bro. They don't. They don't get it. They don't understand that. They have no connection to that. So they're different. They're like aliens in a way, right? So we got to understand that fast enough, soon enough, which is already happening. Thanks to people like some of these leaders that are deciding to go against them, deciding to like people don't understand what's really going on behind closed doors. Like they don't know that there's a real battle going on right now. You see more pedophiles getting locked up, right? You see more big human trafficking rings getting caught, and getting locked up. You see people in high power getting caught, getting all this stuff getting publicized. That's because the bad guys are losing. This is just the first steps to exposing them. Because once you expose them as a bunch of weird pedophiles, yeah, it's going to be very easy for all of us to get up and say, yeah, let's get rid of them. Because
Yeah.
we love our kids. So once we find out the truth, we're going to want to get rid of them
Yeah.
right away. And
Just
then
like
and that's
that.
what's happening.
Just like that video we put out, or you were talking about our last podcast on Tuesday, about all those government officials, openly, guy openly masturbating on Zoom, and going on TV and telling people that he openly masturbated on Zoom. They had a whole interview, and then all he said was sorry, and then it was back to normal. Politicians openly molesting their kids or foster kids, openly molesting, openly saying and agreeing and saying they were wrong and only getting a couple of months of probation, not even jail time, probation. So it's like, when you really like go down and figure out these politicians, they are extremely corrupted. Like, just like the one good thing I did like about Trump, and when he said get rid of the swamp. And that's the swamp he's talking about. He's talking about those
Hmm.
people. He's talking about those people that are those politicians that are career. There shouldn't be a such thing as, like, a career politician. Now you're coming in here, 4 years. I mean, you're doing 20 years somewhere in one seat, and people literally got to wait till you die to take that seat. No, like,
And we need to pay these politicians more money
yes.
because if we paid them more money, they wouldn't be so quick to sell out.
Yes, but again, I get paying them more money. So this is the thing. It shouldn't cost millions. It shouldn't cost millions to become these politicians, and they should take a lot more power away from these people. Because if they take a lot more power, these millionaires and billionaires aren't going to want to have that need to be a politician. They're going to have that need to be ambitious in their field, in their career. So it's going to take away that greed. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it is. Like, there's no reason why a millionaire is accepting a $200,000 a year salary. Come on, bro. Why are you going to go do something for $200,000 a year?
Yeah.
Like, it
No.
doesn't make sense. Like, and you're a
No.
millionaire, that doesn't
Yeah.
make sense because
Doesn't make sense.
you're going to make way more money than that 200,000. That 200,000 is just like chump change. That's a quarter in a bucket. Like, that's what
Yep.
they're doing with that 200,000. So again, it's like, they're sitting here openly throwing it in our face, shitting on us, smearing it in our face, and telling us, "Oh, don't worry, guys. We'll take care of you." and then they go behind closed doors and they do crazy things. That's why they having that big uproar about politicians and trading and investing. Why
Oh
would
yeah,
you why
yeah.
would
What's
you
her
have
name?
that? Nancy Pelosi is like
Yeah,
is a big person
bro.
that's
She
against it.
had. I forgot what it was. Was it? It was some girl. Was it her that had like $100 million that they were tracking her trades that she was making in the market? She was getting like inside market. Was it
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
some
Yeah,
other
I
girl? Was
forgot.
it her?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
But she
yeah.
had
No, it
like
wasn't
it
Nancy
made
though.
no sense. Like, okay, she's making this much salary wise, but yet she got 100 mil.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Like,
Nancy Pelosi is definitely one of those people. All of
yeah,
them, all those politicians, all senators, mayors, governors, they're all, their net worth is way like, quadruple or five times more than what their salary is. I'm saying like,
yeah,
there's no way you're making $100,000 a year, but then your net worth fucking $3 million. Doesn't make
yeah,
sense. Where does that add up? You know what I'm saying? Like where
yeah,
and what world? Because I've made over 100,000 a year. I've made over 200,000 a year. I don't have no net worth of $5 million, $10 million. You know what I'm saying? So I just I don't understand how that math adds up. But again, it's just there's got to be something, something to get rid of, or stop corruption in there. Again, like the only way I see is just like presidency. There's a reason why presidents can't be president more. Know what I'm saying? So there's a reason why other people, the Senate, the whatever these other House seats that are available, even judges, even those judges that are, in the Supreme Court, they're there for years, man, 50 years, 60 years. You're gonna tell me you're still in and connect with the world at 70, 80 years old, and you're gonna prosecute some 18-year-old about drugs when you were witnessing people get hung from trees? Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
When you were 15, you were in segregation and black and white. Like, it was okay for you to and you were okay with that too. Like, you were one of those people that use only white only bathrooms, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And white only clubs. But you're gonna tell me 50 years later, you've adapted with the times? Come on, bro.
yeah.
It
No,
just doesn't make sense. So it's like,
no.
when you go down, like we keep saying, go down the rabbit hole and you start looking into these, and then you start peeling that onion and you really look into some of the corruption that's going on. It's
It's crazy.
crazy. Even war, like it's extremely hard. Like, so it's extremely hard for them to shape this war how they wanted to, because there's so much people on, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it is. I don't know if you've seen that one video. There were like at least one person in Ukraine. It was like the capital of Ukraine. I don't know how to say it. Kakazan or something like that. I don't know how to say it. But there was like one person in there. This guy is like drinking beer and taking shots on Snapchat like it's a normal day. In the middle of the Capitol, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? In the
Uh,
middle of the Capitol, but what we see, we see
yeah,
tanks coming in, we
yeah.
see
So that's what
missiles hitting them. Like,
that's why you can't really believe what you see like
yes,
these days. You can't believe what you see these days because we even have the deep fake technology where it can
yes,
look like Tom Cruise and it's not Tom Cruise at all
yes,
talking. It sounds just like him. Did you look into I'm not sure if I sent you a video or told you about it, but the Ukrainian president they currently have.
yes, bro. When
Did,
when
did,
when
did
I
you see that video on Black
I
Aliens?
went down, yes, I went down a little rabbit hole on
He
this
used to
guy.
be an
An
actor. He used to
actor
be an
and a
actor that played.
comedian. He was an
He
actor and a comedian.
and as an actor, he played a role of a president.
Yes. Yes.
And there and there's a video of him on the Black Aliens IG page that I actually follow that page. They always have good content. But he was doing this gay dance thing that
Yes.
a lot of them have to do when you join. There's a part of the rituals when you join that group. You do some you got to get down with some gay stuff.
Yeah.
I'm nothing against gay people. I
Yeah.
have gay relatives, gay friends, but in that group, some of the rituals involve you doing some of that type of stuff. So he had that video where he was very feminine. It's on a Black Aliens IG page. You can watch it. Like him and like five other dudes are doing straight, very feminine, gay
Yeah.
looking type shit. Like a music video. They're like dancing and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So supposedly the story is in 2014, a regime took over Ukraine. Like
Mhm.
this
Yep.
is all theory. I mean not
No,
necessarily
it's not
theory.
theory. That's facts.
You
That's
actually you
facts.
might these might be facts,
Yeah,
guys.
no, it was facts.
Uh, a regime took over Ukraine in 2014. Okay, now why didn't Russia do something sooner? Well, because maybe he didn't see him as much as a threat, or maybe he had to take his time to plan it out. One or the other, right?
Money. It
Because
was
you
all
can't
money.
because you can't just because there's some bad guys taking over a country, you can't just go and ransack them. You have to keep the civilians in mind. So what Putin did was took his time like a true chess player to do this the proper way.
Mhm.
And yes, the Western media is going to promote it as an invasion, and of course, there's the current leaders of Ukraine are going to convince some of the people of Ukraine that that's what's happening, right? And we don't really know, right? But I also sent you that other video of that American reporter that's actually in Ukraine, filming, recording, right? Blown up schools, right? Bombs that went off, and talking to to teachers
Yeah.
then and you in Ukraine language, and the teachers are literally saying, "We know who's doing this," and she was actually saying like crying and everything. She was like, "We want Putin to come and save us. We know who's doing this. We know who's doing this. It's not them. It's this regime. This regime is doing that
Yeah.
because they want to cause conflict. They're a part of. You got to understand. They're a part of the Luciferian agenda, and the Luciferian agenda has always been to cause conflict, drama, to suppress people, to cause depression. That's their agenda because they're evil. I mean, it's just plain and simple, right? Like when you're evil, you just want bad shit to happen. That's your agenda. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard for us to understand, but I mean, there's evil people, bro. Like there's evil people out there. Don't give a fuck about people.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
really don't.
you know what it is, man. Just chaos causes opportunity,
And it's
and
not
that's
just the
what it
money
is.
either. If you think about it, it's not just the money either because
No, no.
they already did the America was sold to the group of wealthy people during Reagan's presidency. And those rich people, I think it was Reagan's presidency, and those rich people changed policies around to favor them. So they changed it to where it doesn't have to be backed up by gold. That was very smart by them because once they did that, they enabled themselves to be able to basically create a unlimited printing machine. So what they did with this unlimited printing machine is they started loaning money to a whole bunch of other countries that needed it so that they know and they knew those countries would never be able to pay them back. So now they own those countries. So these rich people bought America in a time of need, right? Or helped America. I don't know if you could buy a country necessarily. I mean, I know that you technically could, but I don't really believe in that shit because the people haven't agreed to that shit, right? So we didn't even know this shit happened, right? Like so but then it was smart because then they said, you know what? Let's change the policy where money's not backed up by gold anymore. So now we could just print this shit out forever, as much as we want, and we could loan any country as much as money as they want. We could help them out. They need weapons, and we're gonna own all these bitches.
Yeah.
It was so genius when you think about it. It's genius as fuck, like so smart. But thank God that the good people are just as smart, if not smarter.
Yeah. And we got a first time chatter here. I can't really see it, but I see Nerve. So he saying, "What's up? What's going on, man? Hey, thank you for stopping by." And he says, "Well, it was an invasion, but it started in 2014. Attack now because he saw it was his last chance before the EU stocks up on troops." And yes, that's what we were talking about in our previous podcast on Tuesday. So pretty much, yeah, what he's saying is Russia did invade on that small island, and they did end up successfully taking that over. And then yeah, pretty much Putin
I
see
mean,
the
yeah,
the
you could
opportunity.
call it invasion. You can call it invasion, but not in the way the Western is trying to promote it, like Putin
Yeah,
is some kind of fucking Fidel Castro or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Some
yeah,
Hitler or some
yeah.
shit.
I mean, like I said, we poked the bear. You know what I mean? We poked the bear. Once Ukraine said they wanted to join NATO and they were going to make it official, Putin said no. He's like, no, you're not doing that because again, like we said in the past, ballistic missiles can reach up to 315 miles. Once they set it up from the north end of um his eastern borders of Russia, pretty much they're going to be lined up all on his whole eastern side of his border. So Ukraine kind of gives them a big buffer, I guess you can say, still to hit a lot of European countries. So, yeah, he wanted them as a neutral buffer zone. Yes, we weren't supposed to pass Germany, the NATO first, and we've went way past Germany. So, yeah.
And Ukraine and Russia up till maybe 2014 always had a pretty great relationship.
Hmm.
They're right next to each other,
Yeah.
right? So they normally had a great relationship. Um, until I guess that whole thing happened, right? Till different people took over, and ultimately we know who really took over. It's just the same people, the same leaders of the same group. That's really who they are. They're
Yeah.
just trying to infiltrate as many countries as they can because that's the smartest thing you can do. If you infiltrate as many countries as you can and get someone to work their way up to presidency or head of politics of some sort, you essentially are taking over each country.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very smart, you know what I'm saying? It's very smart to take over the media, take over the countries, politicians, all that stuff. Very smart. But I do firmly believe in the research I've been doing lately. And it seems like there's a big, giant, I don't know if you want to call it a sting operation, but a big, giant, I guess you could say sting operation that's happening where they're taking down these bad guys. Like as we speak, this is all happening behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
getting
For sure.
information like, you know, what's crazy that this random ass YouTube channel that is disguising their name, right? They're using like weird like names for their titles and for their thing. They somehow, I guess they must targeted me based on what I searched, like anybody else who targets people when they try to get viewers or whatever. And it's all information about like what's happening, like people that are like, and it's like a group of like 8 different people that are doing these videos, and they're getting different information from different places. Whether it's sometimes they believe it's facts, sometimes they believe they don't really know, you know, if the source is reliable, but they're sharing all this information, and it's interesting what they're saying. Supposedly, like, so what's next, right? So supposedly, there's one situation that they were saying could happen, and they've been saying this for years now, and it hasn't happened yet, but supposedly they're saying something about we can experience a day or two with a loss of internet and stuff like that, you know, like worldwide type of thing, like, and that only people with emergency broadband are going to be able to be connected or whatever,
Yeah.
because of the military satellites or whatever the hell. So supposedly that was going to happen. Now, and here's another thing that's supposedly going to happen, and we're going to jump from there into some Bob Lazar because it's kind of attached to it in a way. And for those who don't know, Bob Lazar is a guy who worked at a facility as a part of Area 51, where he actually got to work on these extraterrestrial crafts that they had possession of, and actually had to reverse engineer or help reverse engineer the technology. But supposedly, based on my sources, whether this is conspiracy theory or not, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know. But supposedly, what's next? And what's crazy is that a lot of this information that I've been gaining throughout the last couple of years, a lot of it has been happening. That's the crazy thing. A lot of it has been coming true. Like this whole Putin thing, not necessarily with Ukraine, but this I already heard this was gonna happen. I already heard years ago that Putin was gonna play a big role in taking down the NWO.
Yeah.
I heard this years ago, bro. Years ago. So that's why for me it's no surprise that they're saying that it's not an invasion of Ukraine for what they're trying to say in the media, but more of he had to step in Ukraine because they had some biolab supposedly that they were part of and doing in Ukraine that were going to be like bad for the world. So somebody had to step in and
Yeah.
get rid of those biolabs, right? So whatever. If that's true or not, I don't know. But the sources are saying um, years ago that he was going to be a major player. So who knows? You know, I don't know everything. We're not out there. We're not in the trenches, so we really don't know. We have to go based on whatever information we find, right? With whatever source you use. But they also said this is another thing that could be next. That we will have a fake UFO attack. A
That
fake.
was one of
They
them.
said, and they've been saying this for years. And so far, a lot of these predictions they have not been wrong. But supposedly they're going to do a fake UFO attack, and it's actually a UFO that the NWO owns
Yeah.
because they reverse engineered a lot. Like the NWO is not the only ones that have UFO technology already. In fact, a lot of countries do right now behind closed doors. And not to mention that we already had access to a lot of this type of technology as is. I mean, even Nikola Tesla. has a patent for a UFO, right? So we had this kind of information already, I guess, in other ways, but so I don't doubt that. That's kind of easy to do. That's like getting some weird looking drone to fly in the air and shoot some shit up, and then you could just easily say it's aliens.
Yeah.
No one's gonna know. Oh, it's just some aliens. They came from out of the planet. you know, I don't know what that's gonna do towards their agenda, but supposedly that's something that could be one of the next things besides losing internet for a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah. And wasn't there one more thing that they were talking about as well? It was a UFO attack, and what was the other one? It was like two more things that they said.
In terms of what?
And in that same video you were talking about the UFO attacks. They were saying like
Oh,
what they got planned to like kind of distract us.
I don't remember. But I heard about this UFO, this false flag UFO attack thing for years now from
Yeah.
different sources.
Yeah. I
No,
mean, how do you think that's going to play out though? Like, where do you think that's going to like come from? Because I mean, it does make sense because look at all the stuff that they've been putting out about UFOs, like declassifying. They've been like you can kind of tell they've been slowly kind of like dropping in aliens to us. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about it, all the stuff about declassifying, saying that UFOs are real. What that just happened last year, correct?
what? Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
government actually coming out and saying UFOs are real.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, it does make sense because, like I said, and you think about it, they've just been slowly dropping in little hints that aliens are more and more real. Like, why is that coming? Because
yeah.
because they
They're
have a
they're
plan
talking
for
about
us.
it. Yo, they were even talking about it on the mainstream news. That's
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
know. That's when you know something's coming because
yeah.
they're owned by
A-
the same fucking people.
And they weren't taking regular me and you as interviewers. They weren't, and then they weren't taking regular military people as interviews. No one listed. All of them were high-ranking officers,
Yeah,
captain, admirals,
yeah.
people that are oh 04. I would say it was at least a minimum. The shortest class I've seen. I don't know if you guys know, the branches or how military works. So it goes from like, E1 to E9, O1, which is an officer to I want to say O9, O8, something like that, which is like our admirals or highest ranks. So they were bringing in nothing less than a O4 or above to talk about these aliens. So people know they have credibility, and people that's been in the military for years, and they made
Yeah.
sure to say that. I've been in the military for years. I've never seen nothing like it. They all started off the same. I've been in the military for years. I'm an admiral, or I'm a captain, or I'm a lieutenant commander, whatever it is. I've been in the military for more than 2 terms, and I've never seen something like it. So again, like I said, they're not bringing in uncredible people or regular people. So it's just like it kind of all makes sense into that plan of what they're trying to do. And then I see we got another comment here. Well, now Putin managed to wake up Germany because before it was fairly anti-militaristic and only spent less than 1.2% of its annual income on the army, but from of euros and that in third us in Russia. Yep. So yeah, yeah, definitely. I think more of that is into of NATO because NATO is trying to like again bring up the whole Europe. So like I said, they're trying to do what they're doing with America and Canada, move it over to Europe. Have pretty much their enemies because I would say enemy number one is Russia, number two is China, number three is North Korea. Those are the only three countries I would say that America that poses a threat to the world, as I would say, or how they make it out to be. No, it's not for NATO or the German army directly. No, no, it's not for NATO, but I'm just saying NATO is part of that whole area. So they're like kind of talking to and pushing up to that. But definitely that's what all plays in a part, trying to make sure we can control those three countries if possible. and you can tell. And then you can tell, like we've been talking about with our country. But back to what we was talking about with the whole UFO things, like pretty much, the little things that they're kind of, putting out there and setting up and preparing us for. Because it's not like you can just come out all at once and say, "Hey guys, UFOs are real, aliens are real." Next thing you know, now they're going to start saying, all right, aliens may be real. And they've been kind of throwing out declassified information from CIA, FBI, all these, well, not CIA, FBI, and all these military classified files are now becoming classified for public records for people to see. So it's almost like, I said this before, like it's almost like they're preparing us for something. So if this UFO attack does come, me and you are both gonna be like, "Come on." Like
I'm gonna know right away. I'm gonna be like, okay, now they want us to think. Now they want us to think that aliens about to take over the world,
Yes.
and it's probably really just this same group. They're probably gonna have suits on, but it's really gonna be NATO.
Yeah. Oh, it hit me. Lizard people, that's what they were talking about. The lizard people in the Arctics. So they said, something
Oh,
of
you
the
talking about
U.
the reptilian?
Yeah, yeah, yep, they were talking about the
Okay,
lizard people.
that's also a theory,
Yeah,
but supposedly the reptilians are the ones who are really the puppet masters on
yeah.
on behind the scenes.
That's what people say, but,
They
also
have
the
the
other
ability to
side. Yeah,
wear like skin and shit. They don't they can look just like us and you won't even know.
yeah,
Supposedly, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to me in a way because we're like the intelligent form of like monkey,
yeah,
right? Like, what if there's an intelligent form for every animal on this planet, including like lizards? What if there's an intelligent form, humanoid form of a lizard? Maybe, I don't know. Is it possible? I think in an infinite universe, I think anything's possible. I mean, we exist. Shit. So I mean,
yeah,
I
I
think
mean, I
anything's
don't
possible.
yeah, I would
So can
never
it be
knock
something
it.
that looks like a lizard that can talk to us and shit? Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
I, people have
So
been talking about it for thousands of years.
yeah, yeah. So they say the other side of like the reptilians or lizard people that we've cornered them into Antarctica and we keep them trapped there. So that's what like another thing that people kind of say. And like if you go on Google Earth, a lot of places in Antarctica are like blurred out or blacked out, stuff like that, so people can't see. So it's obviously type of military institution, and then that's why they kind of like limited Antarctica off for people not to travel over. So I mean, it makes sense, but they're gonna like something big, something else besides this war is coming up next, because it's just been back to back, and you can tell they're trying. Like with the vaccines, they tried their hardest, and then look, they failed, and then now look, all of a sudden the world is open. Now we have 65% of America, which is lower than what they wanted. They wanted over 80%. So they wanted over 80%. Now they're saying, "Oh, it's okay. We got 65%. You guys keep getting the vaccine, but we're going to take off the mask mandate and everything's good and
They haven't
you
even been
guys will be
talking about
healthy."
COVID lately.
Yeah, they don't even talk about COVID lately. Now it's just straight Russia, Russia and Ukraine.
I was trying to tell you it was going to disappear as fast as it came, and you were like, "Nah, man, we're going like nah." It's like the swine flu, and they basically punked a whole bunch of people to take and inject some shit into their body that they're gonna have for the rest of their lives. That's also gonna slow down population. That's what
Yeah.
they did. They duped everybody real quick. But let me see what the with Leaf Nerve wrote. I gotta say, I have a very scientific standpoint to aliens. I'm convinced that the unlimited vastness of space is life somewhere, but I don't think there are green people and UFOs or on Earth or lizard people. Well, this is the thing. It's if I exist, then it'd be hard not to think there could be a lizard man. I'm a monkey man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
I'm a monkey man, so it's not very far fetched, to think that. I think there could be a humanoid intelligent species for all types of looks. I think the humanoid shape represents, I guess you could say, a different level of expression of intelligence. Because with fingers, you have the ability to do things. A dolphin has been proven to have maybe even a high level of intelligence like a human, but a dolphin cannot build a computer because it's limited with its fin. So I think that there's definitely a chance that we have aliens living on this planet. I mean, you have Navy, military, high personnel. You have people on cruise ships saying they saw USOs diving in the water, for freaking hundreds of years.
Yeah, yeah,
When even when it was wooden boats, there was people that said they saw
yeah.
USOs that go into the water. The ocean's so big,
Egyptians, all that stuff.
all that shit. The ocean's so big, we never been to the bottom of it. Why? Because we don't have the technology? No, we got the technology. Because for all we know, there's probably a freaking base. Something lives down there, probably, for all we fucking know, right? It's so fucking big. You could fit like a whole bunch of Americas and Chinas and Russias down there easily, right? So you could easily have cities down there, bases down there. These concepts are not far fetched because the monkey does not know the human exists in a city a few miles away until he goes to the city.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we should definitely spend more time then going on to another planet, we should spend more time how to live under the water than to another planet. Because now we've made it, very sustainable to live bubble, I guess. But with all this talking UFOs and all that stuff, that kind of leads into our next subject, Bob Lazar, right?
Well, yeah, that's
So,
exactly what I was gonna bring up, but I want to read what Leaf Nerd wrote real quick.
all right, go ahead.
So he said, well, we had evolutionary pressure, evolved intelligence, which has happened in the last 30 years, but lizards have never had that. The lizards that we know of, right? If you're an intelligent lizard, right, you have the ability to not to hide your existence because you're intelligent, right? So, I mean, there's even species to this day that we discover on this planet that we never knew existed because we go into their habitat. So this world alone is so big that there could be something there that we don't know exists unless we go there. And maybe they're so intelligent to the point where they don't even care about mingling with us because they know we're killing people over being black and over being different religions. Why the hell they want to come out here looking like lizards? we're probably we're probably gonna do the same thing to them.
Yeah, they're
Probably
gonna
gonna
get their
fucking
boots smoked.
exterminate.
100%. They're gonna get their boots smoked.
Yeah,
Eh,
so they're gonna.
eh,
So of course, I wouldn't show myself if I was an
yeah,
intelligent lizard or Bigfoot. If you believe in that shit too, I wouldn't show myself if I was them either.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know
no,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Like, so there could be a lot of reasons when you think of intelligence. But when it comes to the evolutionary process, it depends on what you believe in when it comes to evolution, because it's actually been proven scientifically when you look at our DNA that you could tell there has like specific things that have been taken apart and fused, that it can actually that can never happen naturally. You can look this up yourself. This information is already out there. There's a part of our DNA that actually has been taken apart and fused together, and you can only do that like now with the technology we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not something that happens naturally, Mother Nature and whatever. No, it's like someone literally took your piece of DNA, unplugged it, plugged something else up, and boom. So that's also you have to count those unknown factors into the whole process of evolution. You can't just think of Darwin's evolution because that's very very flawed form of evolution. You have to also count intelligent intervention, right? Because look what we're doing right now with ourselves with AI and technology. We're taking the human species to another level of evolution, but we're doing it with our intelligence,
Yeah.
not Mother Nature.
Well, I mean, we already know it is a fact that we have unexplained things. Like I said, when it goes into Bob Lazar, like Bob Lazar, he didn't create it, but I guess he called it the element, 115. So it's something that cannot be explained. That's obviously not made here on Earth, and so like these are known facts from Bob Lazar, and then also with the UFO, with him being in charge. Well, I guess for those, I mean, I'm talking like everybody knows who Bob Lazar is. So, Bruce, if you want to explain who Bob Lazar is a little bit, I mean, I'm sure you could do it a little bit better than that.
Yeah, so Bob Lazar worked at a facility, Area 51. So look, this guy was literally like they tried to delete him once he came
Yes.
clean. He tried to delete him, but there were still people able to find people people and facilities that said they worked with him and they knew him, so it wasn't he wasn't bullshitting. He also took 2 or 3 lie detector tests from the best of the best in America, like the best of the best, and passed. So this guy supposedly worked in this facility and worked on reverse engineering these UFOs, this technology. He mentioned the anti gravity technology. He mentioned how it was like one little button thing that you would just put your hand on or something like that, and if that one thing controlled everything. So he was trying to basically he was in charge of a department or part of a department that had to do with dissecting one part of the whole entire UFO. And this was back in the 60s, I think. I don't know, but it's been a while. Maybe not the 60s. No, Balazar's not that old. It's probably in the 80s or 90s or something. But 80s or 90s, right? 80s or 90s, Bob Lazar was doing this. So imagine how much breakthroughs we had since then because they even did a test flight while he was working there. They did a test flight while he was working there. So imagine how much progress they made in like 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
They probably already flying that bitch around everywhere, and we think it's aliens, and it's just some fucking guy from an Air Force base having fun and shit. Like, yo, man, let's go drive the UFO around and shit, scare some people. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, you never know. But hold on, let me read with Lee Nerd real quick. So, okay, the lizard species, the traces of their culture. Well, there are a lot of traces of not just a lizard species culture, but other types of cultures. You just got to dig into ancient, like ancient teachings and artifacts and stuff like that, and you will see depictions, artwork that represented these lizard-looking people. Or like in Egypt, they also had weird people that had like long heads. Um, yeah, lie detector tests are not like one and done type thing where like if you pass lie detector test for sure you're telling the truth. No, but it's definitely when you add up all the accumulation of everything that Bob Lazar did, 3 or 2 different lie detector tests from different people who are experts in that field, were detectives, whatever, and
Drawings he
also
had,
yeah, all
movies
the
he
all the information he had, the
prints.
drawings he had, the people who said they worked with him, that confirmed that he was there, and just the information. The fact that he mentioned what the fuck was the element called? Element
115.
something,
It's 115.
huh?
Element 115.
Yeah, element 115. He mentioned that shit before he was even added to the fucking table.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There's a lot with Bob Lazar. I mean, there's a lot of documentary. Like I said, Netflix has a lot. History Channel, Discovery Channel. They have a few. So even still, like the stuff that what Bob Lazar says, like you can't not deny that there's another living form out there, and it just doesn't make sense that Earth is the only place that would have a living. Doesn't make sense,
yeah, hundred
that
percent.
there's nowhere like I can get in other planets are not inhabitable or whatever it is. I mean, even they say like the moon, like there's so much that we have not discovered, like people say like the dark side of the moon, stuff like that. Like China is trying to figure out what's over there. So you think about it, there's so much that we haven't discovered or gone through, and just even here on Earth, like we said in the ocean, what's underneath there? What's how do we go down there and find out? Like, what if we're
We
just
haven't
not
even
trying
explored
to?
the
You
Amazon.
said
We,
what?
we haven't even explored the Amazon, bro.
Yeah, yeah, that too. I mean, there's so much of places that we haven't explored or want. I feel
Let
like
me see what
um
leaf.
there's just a lot going on that they're trying to keep us away from, and it makes sense also like what's going on in the world, like a lot of like the war, COVID. We are obviously getting overpopulated. I mean, we see it in every city that we're in. I mean, I'm sure you definitely see it being in Florida, how crowded Florida is, how crowded. I live out here in Virginia. How crowded Virginia is getting, and how it's expanding east and west now off of 95. How crowded all that area is getting all the way down the whole East Coast. So it's just you see what they're trying to do. They're obviously trying to depopulate the world, or yes, the whole earth. They're trying to depopulate it, and what better way to do it than COVID? followed by World War. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Well, yeah. That's the
and
agenda.
that's the agenda, yeah. And then you think about it, like even still with like the whole thing with Bob Lazar and then foes and stuff like that. A lot of talk has been talked about Bob Lazar in the last, I'll say, 3 to 4 years than
Again,
than ever
like
before. Again,
again,
yeah,
it just
again,
blew back up again. Yeah.
yeah, blew back up again. So it's just like I said, it's just everything is just coming. It almost seems like their plan is coming more and more together than
Hmm.
we really want it to be. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much that goes on. Like I said, with also to add on, Bill Gates and his partner, what was it, 80% or 70% of farmland here in America now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does somebody need to do stuff like that? Like, it just all makes sense on what they're trying to do. And everybody that says, "Oh, I don't believe in conspiracy theory, I don't believe in this and that." Well, look, the conspiracy theories that people have been talking about for the last 20 are coming true. People that are, saying
A
that,
lot of them.
yeah, a lot of them. And it's not even like just like one or two, a lot of them are coming true. It's almost like the freaking Simpsons effect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
so it's just you have to think about this stuff, and again, you have to go down your rabbit hole and figure these things
100%.
out. Like, you have to. That's the only way. Because again, those books and textbooks and those schools are not going to teach you this stuff. We already seen
Nope.
it now as adults. I'm a grown man now. I'm over 30. I seen it now. School has failed a lot of people. A lot of people. College has failed. Middle school, elementary school, whatever grade you want to put out. Masters. They have failed a lot of people. Failed a lot of people
Yeah.
and the information that they want you to know. That's it.
Yeah.
Information that they want you to know, and they want you to become part of this cycle. Like I said, look at schools, how it's built. It's built
Yeah.
to work jobs. It's built to follow a cycle. It's built for you to come out as cookie cutters. So by the time you hit 30, guess what? All your dreams and aspirations are gone. You're just going to follow whatever the government says, whatever the news says. And then that's
Hmm.
why, I feel like our generation, I guess, is going against the grain a lot. And then
Yeah.
now it's starting to trickle down to the younger generation because they're
Mhm.
starting to open their eyes because our generation is literally chopping away at that. And they're like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want that. Like, I know what you guys are trying to do. But again,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of people that's falling
You got
into that situation.
freaking teenagers becoming rich off. You got teenagers becoming rich off NFTs and crypto and all that stuff. So they're definitely going against the grain. They're not
Yeah.
doing the whole "let me get a warehouse job," or "let me go to college," let me do this. But let me read what Leaf Nerve wrote. Let me respond to. So okay, so the next thing you wrote was I study MBT Gen, and everything learned and serve itself. Theory of evolution is correct. If you're talking about the theory of evolution as far as Darwin's, yeah, I would definitely tell you to go down that rabbit hole more and focus on having more of a universal mind approach than guided,
Scientific.
directed, a guided, directed mind approach, because then you'll only see it from that lens, and you won't even acknowledge the other lenses or possibilities. If you truly are open-minded individual, I'll tell you to take a universal approach. It's wonderful that you studied the current theory of evolution. That's great. What I'm telling you is to go down the rabbit hole with the other ones as well, so that way you can have all the information and just as much as you did with MBG10 or more, because there's so much information out there now, especially. And what I'm not saying that our DNA was artificially created. What I'm saying is that there's pure evidence already that it was tampered with, pure evidence, real evidence. Look it up. And also, just so you know, they are currently working on creating some form of artificial DNA. Um, you might want to go look that up as well. So lie detector test. Yep, you're 100% right. Yeah, if you believe it, you will be passing a lie detector test. But the key to a lie detector test working or being effective is the person that is running the test, and that's why I mentioned their credentials. Because if they were detectives and so on, that means they were actually high level. They knew how to really catch people on lies, because those are the ones that are actually asking the questions, right? They're the experts. So therefore, they're going to know how to trick you to catch you in a lie, right? It's not just like a script you can rehearse before going and sitting down with two or three different professionals that are doing lie detector tests. So it's a little bit more valid than just believing in something. Let me see, COVID vaccine, but after they got this hype, these assholes never even wrote an email back. Yeah, it's crazy. Look, man, look, the rabbit hole goes deep, guys. As always, we had a great call today. We tied in some interesting topics today with some conspiracy theories mixed with some facts. We had some interesting comments and interesting questions and feedback along the way too. So this is a very insightful episode, guys. I definitely recommend you continue to go down the rabbit hole on these topics. There's much more. Look, there's a whole Bob Lazar documentary on Netflix. Definitely watch it. There's a whole bunch of books and videos and information out there on all these concepts we talked about, the whole Luciferian agenda, right? The Vatican representing this stuff. You can go look up this stuff yourself. Look at the pictures on Google Images. Don't just hear it and then dismiss it, because I want you to understand that a part of their programming was to plant a seed in your mind that naturally denies these things from being real, so that you never take action on it and you submit to it unconsciously and allow it until it's your own kid. So stop doing that. Share this information, talk about it, think about it, go down the rabbit hole, and the world's getting better. Trust me. From what I've heard, from my information that I know, behind closed doors, these guys are going down and fast. And like I said, it's very obvious already. Since when did you see so many high level actors, actresses, people in media, politicians getting caught in pedophilia, in human trafficking? When have you seen that at this level? Never. They're getting caught. They're going down, and there's no other way around it. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Leaf Nerve. Anthony, any final words?
Now, man, I don't got any final words, man. Just like as always, you guys check out the and appreciate you guys stopping by, especially you. Appreciate the comments, and we love the feedback. That's all I got. Ain't That's it.
No, that's it, guys. Stay blessed. See you on the next one.